another edition of the Verde Valley Experience. I'm your host, Jennifer Cohen. Thank you so much for joining me on this day. Hope you've been enjoying the fabulous spring weather. And ladies and gentlemen, it's time to start your gardens, which is perfect timing. So here to help you with that is Chris Jensen, who is the Verde Natural Resource Conservation District Supervisor. And he is in the studio today to discuss the upcoming Alternative Plant Festival, which will be happening on April 18th. Chris has lots of info on xeriscaping and how it can help you lower your water bill and conserve our most precious natural resource. So that's going to be some cool stuff there. Our next guest will be incoming Rotary Club President-elect Casey Rooney. Casey will be here to talk with us about the Rotary Club of the Verde Valley and how you too can become a Rotarian and live by their motto, service above self. Dr. Stephen Granger, archaeological consultant and author of 33 books on arrowhead typology, is going to be here. Steve has joined us to bestow some of his vast knowledge in the area of collecting and identifying ancient artifacts. Very interesting stuff indeed there. Did you know that the United Blood Services community blood centers across the country provide blood components, and special services for patients in more than 500 hospitals in 18 states? More than 25 million people depend on the United Blood Services, and their headquarters, their national headquarters, is right here in Arizona. That is wicked cool. Blood donor Sue Through will be here, and she'll take us through the process of becoming a blood donor hero. So that's some good stuff you're going to want to know. Then we'll journey out to the Sedona Wetlands Preserve and talk to Director of Wastewater, Charles Mosley. If you haven't been there, you're missing out. Charles will introduce us to the project, and it has turned into a must-see place if you're a nature lover like I am. Very, very cool. And finally, our musical guests for today's show are the Canyon Singers. The Canyon Singers is a local choral group of about 20 men and women who enjoy learning and singing and sharing good choral music of all styles. Sandra Reed, the founder and director, will be in the studio along with a dozen other folks to share their beautiful voices and round out our show today. So it's going to be a good one. Make sure you stick with us. And we will go ahead and get right started with Mr. Chris Jensen, which this is the most wonderful title. I love this. Verde Natural Resource Conservation District Supervisor. That has a ring.
Well, I hope so, and I hope everybody else likes it.
Yeah, very, very cool. Thank you for being on the show. I know we had you last year at this time to talk about the Alternative Plant Festival. Good to have you again.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here.
That's very cool. Your event is coming up on April 18th.
That's correct. From 9 till 4.
9 to 4 over there at the Verde River Growers.
300 South Rocking Chair Ranch Road.
Yep, right there in Cottonwood. Wonderful, wonderful place. I go there all the time. All the time. And you brought some wonderful examples of native plants. Now, what is the main idea behind the Alternative Plant Festival?
Well, the main idea behind that, Jennifer, is that we have to get away from using the high water plants. That's the whole focus of the Alternative Plant Festival. We want to get people away from the high water plants and perhaps the nice green lawns that are maybe more appropriate in Michigan or Indiana or something, and get people down to using plants that are appropriate for this area.
Right, sure. And you know, what's one of the main reasons to use low water plants besides the fact we don't have a lot of water around here, in case you hadn't noticed?
That is one of the biggest reasons, and it's because, and I'm sure your viewers are aware, we've been in a state of drought since about the year 2000, going on 15 years now.
I know.
There's been numerous reports by state, fed, local universities, whatnot, that we're looking at a serious water shortage by maybe 2060. Wow. And if we don't find a way to conserve the water we have and find more water, we're going to be in a lot of trouble.
Truly.
So that's kind of what that's all about.
Right, and a major way that we homeowners or even renters can help conserve water is by planting and having native plants. And you've brought a couple of wonderful varieties, and something smells really nice. I wish you could smell this. I'm not sure which one it is, but it's a wonderful sagey smell.
It would be that one,
It'll
big
be this
sage.
Guy? Oh, the sage. Well, hello, of course. I love sage. It's so wonderful. You're going to leave this one here so I can smell this the whole time of the show. These are beautiful. And you know, what's interesting is a lot of time when you think about xeriscaping, you think, oh, rocks, cactus. You know, not everybody likes that. But,
no, they don't.
But here you've brought some beautiful, lush-looking plants that, well, these are natives, aren't they?
Correct. The reason I brought these, if you could see my backyard, Jennifer, you would think you were in the Sonoran Desert. I love cactus, but not everybody loves cactus. So I brought these right here, and this, for example, is a manzanita. It's been hybridized a bit to do well at a little lower up. Normally they do really, really well around 5,000 feet.
Sure.
But these have been hybridized somewhat, and they do very well in our valley now. And the outstanding thing about them is you see the reddish bark and the nice green leaves. And you've already encountered the nice big sage. And here, this is called the turpentine plant. It's got a nice wavy texture to it. The nice thing with turpentine, and I don't. Does it smell like turpentine?
Yeah, this is a little bit. Just not in an unpleasant way, though. The nicer side of turpentine.
The nice thing about these is, you know how in the wintertime everything goes dormant, the leaves fall off the trees.
Right.
These will be green in your yard.
Oh, that's nice.
All winter.
I like that. Yeah.
And I don't want to undercut the nursery, but there's quite a few choices you can have. Like if you've seen that desert broom, the big tall stuff that.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
And then there's creosote, and there's all sorts of choices that you can make to xeriscape.
Right.
Without having cactus.
Right.
And that's kind of, you know, what my mission here is. Right.
And, you know, besides reducing the water bill, obviously for you, there's benefits to the environment.
Oh, definitely. Everything in an area, in a specific environment, co-evolves with all the other living creatures, plants and animals, in that environment, and becomes part of a food web. And so all these plants become part of the food web that are either eaten or consume something. They have some niche or some role in that environment. And overall, they contribute to the overall health of the environment. If you take them out, you've got serious troubles. A good example is there's a kind of a mini crisis with milkweed right now, which is causing kind of a shortage of monarch butterflies. So you can see that if you take something out of that food web, you're going to have unforeseen consequences.
Right, definitely. And if you do plant with these wonderful native low water plants, you're going to attract the native animals and insects and birds and things like that, which in turn helps the environment there too. And they're pretty. You know, you don't think of that. Native plants. We have some gorgeous plants around.
Oh, we have gorgeous. And for people who, and I guess I would address this to people who have just moved here or something, who think that cactus are just thorny things. If you look at cactus in the spring, there's so many beautiful flowers and everything.
Yeah.
Cactus are anything but ugly and barren.
Oh, yeah, definitely not. I actually love cactus. I've had way too many run-ins, though. That's the only time I don't love cactus is when it attaches itself to me.
Encounters of a personal kind.
Yeah, that's not cool, but otherwise it is gorgeous. Now, what else do we need to know about xeriscaping? I mean, it's such a big name. It sounds kind of intimidating.
People shouldn't get too intimidated about it. It just means using low water native plants.
Right.
In this area, what I've had people say, well, what should I plant? And my answer is look and see what's growing on the hillsides. That's really what it's about. It's using less water, because if we don't use less water, we're going to have a whole lot of serious trouble.
We're going to be in a whole lot of trouble. Absolutely. Now, the homeowners can find out more about low water plants by contacting the Master Gardener's office. I did not know we had such a thing at the University of Arizona.
Well, you could contact them down there, but it might be easier. You know where the county building is down there along 260?
Okay.
And their number is 554 8990.
Yes, it is. You have that memorized.
Oh. I deal with them sometimes.
Well, great. Well, Chris Jensen, thank you so much for being on the show again. Thank you for bringing plants. You're so full of there's so much more that Chris has to share with us. Will you be at the festival?
I definitely will, and I would like to tell your viewers that there will be a 40% off price for the first purchase on any plant.
Wow. That's great to know. They're at Verde River Growers. That's going to be April 18th. You got to check out the Alternative Plant Festival. And don't go away, because we'll be right back.
Looks like it's done.
Don't let salmonella get funky with your chicken. On average, 1 in 6 Americans will get a foodborne illness this year. You can't see these microbes, but they might be there. So learn the right temperature to cook each type of meat. Keep your family safe at foodsafety.gov.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for information on how to provide even better care for the person who wants to care of you.
Hello, welcome back to the Verde Valley Experience. Our next guest is Sue Through, and she is a blood donor at the United Blood Services Center. Now, see, that's really cool. We got someone who's in on the ground floor, who's active with it. You're a blood donor, and you're obviously very passionate about the United Blood Services.
I certainly am. And in fact, I'm very pleased to say that next week I'm going to celebrate 28 years working with United Blood Services.
Wow.
And it's really an honor to be able to inspire people on, why it's so important to donate blood and save lives. And, we meet all sorts of people who are alive today because of blood donors, and it's such an important thing to do, and there is no substitute for blood.
Right, that is true. And it's an amazing organization. It's been around since 1943. So you guys have got your system down.
Well, we'd like to think so.
Which is it's amazing. Now, I read that you should give blood 3 times a year.
Well, that's kind of our slogan. It's sad to say that, while most of us are eligible to donate blood, only about 5% of the population actually does donate at least once a year. And the average donor only gives once or twice a year. And if everybody would just make it a point to give blood one more time, we'd never talk about those seasonal blood shortages that happen so frequently around holidays and during the summer months, which of course are right around the corner.
It is amazing that we do have blood shortages. I mean, it's used for so many things, but I have that 25 million people yearly depend on some sort of blood service, be it a blood product or just giving blood in any way, not even so much as in accidents, but in other sorts of things. So there's a huge need for it. And the fact that we have shortages, but you guys are doing a really good job keeping up with that.
Well, we sure try. We host about 10 different blood drives across the state of Arizona every day, and of course we have donor centers down in the valley. But it's just amazing to think about how much blood people use right here in northern Arizona in the Verde Valley. The 7 hospitals in that area last year used about 9,000 pints of blood.
Wow.
And it's used for so many different kinds of patients. It could be accident victims, surgery patients, people fighting cancer, leukemia, internal bleeding. But there are so many things that blood is needed for that most of us will probably find ourselves in need of a transfusion sometime during our lifetime.
At some point, yeah. And since there are 3 different types of blood, there's at least 3.
Well,
I think
actually,
there's AB as well, and
there's 4 main blood types, and then within that there's a positive and a negative, which makes like 8 different types of blood.
Wow.
And it's really interesting that, whether a blood is common or rare, it will play a unique role in the blood supply. For instance, a lot of people that have type O blood know that they're the universal donor.
Right.
Type O blood in particular, O negative, can go to all blood types.
Wow.
So they are the universal donor. O positive can go to all the positive positive blood types, which is
Wow.
about 85% of the population. And that's for red blood cells. But then when you talk about plasma, which is one of the components in the blood, AB is the universal donor. So there's something special about every single blood type and so there's a patient out there that needs you or me no matter what our blood type might be.
Right. Wow. Thank you for that information.
You're
That was
welcome.
really cool. Now, what kind of person can give blood? Who can do it?
Well, the first and foremost thing is you have to be in general good health. If a person's fighting a cold or flu currently, they'll ask them to wait till they're 100% symptom-free to donate blood. There is a minimum age limit. You have to be at least 16 years old, and 16 and 17-year-olds do need to have their parent or guardian sign our minor donor permit, which can be downloaded from our website. Of course, at 18, you can sign for yourself, and there is no upper age limit. So as long as a person's healthy, then they're probably fine to donate blood. And I know there's a lot of retired people here that live up here in the Verde Valley enjoying the beautiful weather here. So we encourage all of those folks to come out and give blood. As far as illnesses and things like that that might prevent someone from donating blood, if a person has had hepatitis age 10 or younger, they can never give blood. But if they're age 11 or older at the time that they had hepatitis, then I think I just said that backwards. Age 10 or younger is fine to give blood. Age 11 or older is a permanent deferral. People who've had cancer just have to wait 1 year until their doctor clears them as being cancer-free. Most medications do not cause a problem with donating unless somebody takes something to fight an active disease or infection. So like if you are a heart patient and you have to take blood thinners, then we don't want to risk imbalancing your medication, and that would be considered a medication for an active disease. And then, of course, antibiotics are used to fight infections. But surprisingly, most other medications are just fine. The best thing to do is just show up at a United Blood Services location. You'll have an opportunity to meet with one of our donor services staff that will go over all of the qualifications, any particulars on medication, previous illnesses, or travel that could potentially affect someone from donating. But chances are you're just fine to donate.
Wow. And then how do you go about finding a donation center?
Well, we do about 10 blood drives across the state of Arizona every single day. We have a crew that works out of Flagstaff doing all the northern Arizona and Verde Valley blood drives. So we tend to do different blood drives at locations throughout the area every single month. In fact, I have a cheat sheet here with a list of blood drives.
Excellent.
We have some donation locations coming up very soon here. At this Saturday, people can give blood at the Immaculate Conception Church in Cottonwood over there on Bill Gray Road. That's from 8 to 12.
And that's the 4th.
That's the 4th. On Friday the 10th and Saturday the 11th, we're going to be at Verde Valley Medical Center on South Candy Lane here in Cottonwood. On Friday, the hours are 9 to 2, and on Saturday, the hours are 8 to 1. We're also going to be in Camp Verde at the Bash's Grocery Store in a bloodmobile on the 18th, which is a week from Saturday, from 12 to 5. And then finally, the Sedona blood drive is going to be at Sedona Red Rock High School on Tuesday the 21st from 9 to 2 p.m.
That's great. You've got a lot going on.
We do, which is why the timing of being able to come on your show to talk about these upcoming blood drives was so fantastic. Cool. And we do encourage people to make appointments to make sure they can get in and out quickly. So the easiest way to do that is just go online to bloodhero.com, put in the name of your city, and the list of blood drives that are available will come up. And you just sign up, make an appointment, and then before you come to the blood drive, make sure you've had a meal and drink and have had plenty of water to drink, and then takes about an hour and you're on your way.
Right. The plenty of water is a really good point because it helps increase your blood volume and increase the flow factor. It makes it easy on everybody. So definitely
Certainly
drink more
does.
water. We all need to drink more water anyway.
Good thing.
Conserve water for the plants, drink water for your body.
Yes.
And your website, the unitedbloodservices.org, is a wonderful place to find information and look up where the next drive is going to be, and also make an appointment online. And I love the stories, wonderful heartwarming stories about folks who are donors. you know, folks like yourself that have been donating for over 20 years, and then the teenagers who have started doing it, and their story, and how, you know, a mother and son do it together, and all these wonderful stories are shared on this website. So that's really, really nice. Check out unitedbloodservices.org for that. And definitely, giving blood is a wonderful thing. You're sharing life, basically, with someone else.
You certainly are. And you know, when blood's needed, there's no substitution for blood. The only place it can come from is volunteer donors.
Right.
And when you donate blood, you can help save the lives for 2 to 3 patients, since your blood's separated into components. Your red cells go to help a surgery patient or accident victim. Plasma in the blood goes to help somebody who's fighting internal bleeding, is the most common use. It's what, you know, rushes to the wound and makes your blood clot so that you don't bleed to death.
Wow.
And then the platelets in your blood are used to primarily help cancer and leukemia patients following their chemotherapy treatments.
Wow. Such a miracle thing blood is. So get out there, give blood 3 times a year. Absolutely. Check it out, unitedbloodservices.org. Sue Through from United Blood Services, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much.
What
I
you do
really
is so
appreciate
important.
the opportunity.
Thank you. And we'll be right back, so don't go away.
every budget, so don't accept defeat. Now you can get covered and still buy me treats.
You take care of your pets. Now it's their turn to take care of you. Visit getcoveredamerica.org to learn about your health insurance options.
How can I help my daughter with her reading?
Searching for help with Dachshund breeding.
No.
Let me try. Sarah's bright, but when she's reading, she has trouble sounding out words.
Playing world music.
What?
I give up.
Wait, I was trying to show you how Sarah feels every day. Frustrating, isn't it? Redirecting to understood.org.
Join parents and experts at understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues to help your child thrive.
And welcome back to the Verde Valley Experience. I'm now here with Casey Rooney, who is the president-elect of the Rotary Club. Thank you so much for being here.
I'm happy to be here.
And you look so smart in your jacket.
Well, thank you very much.
I love when people dress up for the show.
I don't feel real smart, but maybe I look smart. I don't know.
Well, you got to be somebody because you're the Rotary Club president now.
Yeah,
so
it's a good
congratulations.
Thing. Thank you.
That's
you.
really
I appreciate
awesome.
it. I'm looking forward to it.
Great. How long have you been involved in the Rotary of the Verde Valley?
Geez, 8.5 years.
Nice.
I don't know if you remember Margie Beach. Does that name ring a bell?
Sure it does.
Margie is the one that got me involved in Rotary.
Oh.
And I was never a big joiner of clubs, but Margie brought me in, and then I just fell in love with the club.
Right.
You know, the values are just amazing.
Right.
It's all about the values.
Right. So that's what it was that spoke to you, that made you want to become a Rotarian.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the values, service above self is the motto, and that's really nice.
That is.
Can you explain what that means?
Well, we have a four-way test. So every time we get together, every Thursday at Nate's Cowboy Cafe,
Yep.
we do a four-way test. And I've got the four-way test here.
Oh, how
I
about
want
that?
you to have one of these.
Oh my gosh.
Okay? It's all about the values of Rotary. And number one is of the things we think, say, and do is it the truth?
Okay.
Number two, is it fair to all concerned? Number three, will it build goodwill and better friendships? And number four, will it be beneficial to all concerned?
All right.
Now, how can you argue with those values? Those are such good values.
That's true.
That's what I try to live my life by every day.
Very nice. If every decision we made, we put through that 4-point test there, Wow.
Yeah.
We'd be a different world for sure.
Yeah, and I'm going to give you this. Here's a present from me, besides that four-way test
well,
card.
thank you.
And if you don't,
The Rotarian.
yeah, make sure you look it over, read it. It's really a good magazine. It's a global magazine.
Okay.
So there's like 1.2 million strong in Rotary, and it's been going on since, well, over 100 years, like 105 years. That's a long time.
That is amazing.
And it's always been about that four-way test and the values.
Right. So how do you put that to work for you? What is it that the Rotary Club of any place, let's talk about specifically the Verde Valley, does?
Well, we have a duck race every year. That's our fundraiser.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. So it's during the Verde River Days. And let me see, I know I have it written down here somewhere, September 26th. And we raise money to give college scholarships. So we help groom kids to go on to college.
Right.
And we honor, once a month, we honor kids. We honor a couple fifth graders and we honor a couple seniors. And they come to us and they get nominated by their school teacher, their teacher. And the teacher writes a nice little thing up on the student and how good the student is. And then we print it out and we frame it. And then we all come together, and so there's like 2 fifth graders and 2 seniors. And we bring them up in front of the Rotary Club and we pat them on the back and we give them this framed certificate that says how great they are.
Nice.
I mean, imagine. I mean, I wish when I was in 5th grade somebody did that for me.
Yeah.
Because I was, I didn't get that.
Yeah, of
I went
course.
to Catholic school.
Me too.
That's a whole other story.
Yeah.
Right?
Don't get us started on that one.
No, but there's 1.2 million members of Rotary.
Wow.
And they are all doing good things like this. So what we do with the duck race is we bring in as much money as we can, and then we give scholarships to kids to go to college. Now, it could be to go to a beautician school or something like that.
Right.
It could be welding. It could be going on for a bachelor's degree. It doesn't mean that we're encouraging kids that they all have to have PhDs.
Right.
And
higher learning.
Yeah, and what we do, the honor students, the A+ students, they always get the awards. We try to actually come down to the second level. The people that are really good students, but they're having a harder time getting the scholarships.
But they're trying really hard.
They're trying really hard, and they have all kinds of potential, and they're going to be really successful. They just aren't that #1 in the class person. Those are the people we're helping.
The ones that don't have it so easy.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, and it's good stuff.
And how do people have to put in for a scholarship? How does that part of the program work?
They do. It gets announced at the high school, and people write an essay, fill out an application, and then we all come together and we review the applications. Then we go and we interview the students. And, we aren't flush with money, but, we have a few $1,000s a year to give away.
Nice.
And it's not just giving it away. It's not a handout. We want you to be successful, and we're going to help you get there.
Great.
So that's what it's all about.
Very cool. And your deadline's coming up for scholarship submissions if
oh, geez, you probably know and I don't.
Yeah, April 30th is the deadline. If you want to get your son or daughter wants to be involved in one of these scholarships, you need to go ahead and go to RotaryClubOfTheVerdeValley.org and get signed up for that by the 30th so you can be considered.
Wow, thank you for that plug.
I looked on your website. Great website.
You need to be a member of Rotary.
You did? I know.
I'm going to invite you to a meeting.
Come on,
you gotta go.
Well, and that's a good thing. How does one become a member? Do you have to be invited by someone, or can you just show up at one of your Thursday 12:10 meetings at Nate's Cowboy Cafe there?
It's open for just about anybody. It's kind of a business person's club, and they're all aspiring leaders in our community.
Sure.
So it's open for just about anybody. We're not super selective and top of the class people. But we're average business people. I mean, the people that have been president before me are people like Margie Beach, who everybody knows in the community. She used to be with Salt River Materials Group. Mark Tufte with Country Bank. Justin Vaughn from the Vaughn Law Office. Me.
Sure.
Dan Peterson is our president right now, so I'm taking over in July.
Sure, yeah.
And Dan has been a great guy. He's helped us grow our club. So we're always looking for new people that have energy and want to get involved and have really good values.
Sure, yeah.
That's what's really important.
The values is definitely the key.
It
if you
is.
want to get involved, check them out. Rotary Club of the VerdeValley.org, and they do meet at 12:10, which is funny, 10 minutes after 12, at Nate's Cowboy Cafe in Clarkdale every Thursday if you want to check them out. Casey Rooney, thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations on incoming president.
Oh, thank you. Another job.
And I'm sure I will. Yeah, I know how that feels. We'll see this fella around a lot.
Yeah.
And don't go away, because we'll be right back with more of the Verde Valley Experience.
Headaches and back pain are two of the top reasons people choose Mosing Chiropractic. Dr. Mosing also treats symptoms of numbness and tingling, as well as those injured in auto or work accidents. Dr. Mosing uses gentle chiropractic techniques, as well as electric muscle stim and cold laser therapies. Call Dr. Mosing today at 634-0733. No spine left behind at Mosing Chiropractic.
So you see, son, good manners are important. Should I go through it again?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Exactly. Always say please, thank you, you're welcome, excuse me, sit up straight, hold doors open for ladies. If the door's locked, knock first, don't burp, don't swear, don't stare, don't use bad language, or talk with your mouth full, keep your elbows off the table.
What table?
Don't interrupt. Cover your mouth when you cough or sneeze. On the bus, give your seat up to anybody who has trouble standing. Bottom line, treat others the way you want to be treated. Got it?
Got it.
Good talk.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain.
This new mom is struggling to get the skates just right. And now she's holding on for dear life. Her kids can see she may have broke her knees. They still love her though she looks like she's attacked by killer bees. I'm allergic. You don't have to be perfect to be the perfect parent.
Thousands of siblings in foster care will take you just as you are.
And welcome back to the Verde Valley Experience. We're now here with Dr. Stephen Granger, who is an archaeological consultant. And you're wondering, what is that? Well, you're going to find out, because he's a really cool guy, and I'm really excited that he's in the studio. So, Steve, it's so nice to see you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Jennifer.
That's awesome. You're an amazing guy. Where do we start? Let's start with how you got into being an archaeologist. How'd you get interested in archaeology? Let's start there.
Well, it all started back in the early 70s. I grew up in Louisiana, and we did a lot of hunting and things like that. And I found my first arrowhead back in, I think it was 71, and had no idea of who made it or what it was used for, other than hunting. And there were no books at the time really to give any information, to enlighten as to what culture or
So you've done an awful lot of research since then.
Lots of research.
Steve's written 33 books on arrowhead typology. That's 33 books.
33. Yeah.
And one specifically, my favorite, the one on arrowheads from Arizona, because I have that one. I can say I've read your book.
Yeah.
And it's truthful.
It didn't put you to sleep or anything?
No, it is fascinating stuff, because I have been out there and I have seen something laying on the ground and go, wow, is that an arrowhead? Or wow, I found a stone and thought, that's an unusual shaped stone. That doesn't seem quite right. You've brought quite a nice array of examples of things that you might come across, and some absolutely gorgeous things. Geez, what else? You've even consulted for museums, which is amazing. Let's continue on with how awesome you are, so that everybody knows. We're not just talking here. Like, this guy knows his stuff.
I worked for many museums across the country. I've worked in conjunction with Smithsonian, Gilcrease out of Tulsa, and many others. I've worked with universities, private institutions, private collectors.
Sure. I'm sure everyone has a lot of questions about this stuff, because there's obviously a lot of information. That book's over an inch thick. Now, an important thing, though, what are the laws around collecting or finding an artifact. How exactly does that work?
The laws are pretty much like, the laws for Arizona are pretty much like the laws for any other state. You can't disturb major sites. You can't disturb any kind of burials, whether they're unmarked or not.
Right.
If you do see some kind of burial context, you're supposed to support it to your local law enforcement, which would more than likely be the sheriff's department.
Sure.
And of course, they would dispatch a coroner out, and you'd have to show them where it was at.
Right.
And stuff. Basically, you can't surface collect on BLM land or any kind of major sites. You know, like you can't pick anything up at Chillucky-Pucky, right, or Walnut Canyon, or Pulaski, or Hananki, or
sure.
If you want to surface collect, you really need to have written permission from a landowner, which specifies to collect artifacts, and so the laws are pretty much the same for Arizona as most other states.
Sure. Well, that makes perfect sense. And you know, we see a lot out there of artifacts being sold. You know, anywhere, eBay, different stores and stuff like that. One of your amazing specialties is you can tell the difference between a real one and a fake one.
Yes. Yes.
What are a few things you look for?
Well, about 90+% of what you see is reproduction. Flint knappers are really good, and most of them are real proud, and they'll actually scribe their initials on what they make.
Sure.
The problem comes when they take a shortcut and they don't do that, and then somebody less than honest, right, gets it and tries to artificially age it and stuff. The things that I look for are the flaking patterns, whether it's correct for the time period, the materials, whether the material is correct for the area that it was supposedly found. I look for any kind of metal markings around the edges and stuff like that. It's a long list.
Sure, so. I bet. And you've brought some examples here of arrowheads. Are these authentic or are these reproduction?
No, those are authentic.
These are authentic.
Yeah.
They're perfect.
Those are.
They're gorgeous.
Yeah, those are paleo points.
Wow.
The larger ones on the bottom are Clovis points, which would have been used by the paleo hunters 14,000, 15,000 years ago. And the two small ones at the top are Fossum points, which would have been used for the ancient buffalo, to hunt ancient buffalo, 10,000 years ago.
Geez, you're so honored sitting next to these things. That is amazing. And you brought this little box here that has these wonderful little items in it. And one of them looks like it's a pendant?
Yeah, the red pendant is a natural material found here in Arizona. It's argillite. And the one next to it was actually made out of a meteorite.
Get out. Yeah. Wow.
So,
neat.
Something else we have a lot of here, right?
I know. Are the things that you brought today native Arizonan things? They found?
They are. In fact, they're from the Verde Valley area.
Wow.
These are all on loan from collectors in the area to me for the viewers.
Right. Is it okay if I touch that?
Yes, please do.
I'm not sure if I should touch it or not. What is this?
It's a mortar, and the red pigment that you see in the center. More than likely was the ferric oxide, the red rock that we're so proud of here, right?
Right.
They would have used it for painting ceramics, or sometimes the arrows are painted.
Right.
So.
Too cool. And was this some sort of tool? It has these wonderful grooves in it.
The grooves were from straightening arrows.
Oh, wow.
Because wood tends to warp when it's green, so.
Wow. That's so cool. I still feel like I shouldn't be touching it. And then you have this, which is it's a rock. It looks like a lot of other rocks, but what
Yeah.
makes this particular rock different?
It was pecked and ground to shape.
Really?
And it was actually plowed up in an area where ball courts were found years ago.
How about that?
So, yeah.
Well, if somebody wants to start their collection, where should they start? How, first they should obviously get a book.
The first step, yes, is to is self-education. You need to know where you stand legally first.
Sure.
Then library is a good place to start.
Well, there you
They
go.
usually have lots of books.
Sure. Well,
I'm not
there you go.
real sure if my book's in the library or not. But
I don't know.
It will be after the show.
Well, there you go. I know it's on Amazon. I know that.
So-
I know you can look it up.
But that's the first place.
Yeah.
You can't have enough education.
That's true.
With
With
this
stuff like
so.
that. Yeah, it's really amazing stuff. Thank you so much for bringing all these wonderful pieces in. It's just too cool. Dr. Stephen Granger, everyone. Archaeological consultant. You're going to check him out on his website. Definitely very, very cool. Check out his books, Arizona Arrowhead Typology. That's obviously the most local one, but you've got 32 others, so you can't miss this guy. And don't go away because we'll be right back. We've got more show for you.
Of all the things you've done with your bike, donating it to Goodwill may be the most incredible of all. Your donations help fund job placement and training for people in your community, which means your stuff can be more powerful than you think. Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs.
Thanks for coming in for the interview.
Oh, yeah, of course.
All right, we got your personal references, your resume, high school diploma or equivalent.
Skip the drama. Get your diploma.
Yes, it's right there.
Great.
Take that first step towards a better future. Find free adult education classes at finishyourdiploma.org.
Cinderella found the pet that fits her perfectly. Tiana gave her pet the royal treatment. Belle found beauty where no one else did. And you can too. Share your heart. Share your love. Bring home your forever friend. Make a shelter pet part of your world. Happily Ever After begins at theshelterpetproject.org.
And welcome back to the Verde Valley Experience. We're now here at the Sedona Wetland Preserve. You've heard of it, haven't you? The Sedona Wetland Preserve. Well, if you haven't heard of it, you've driven past it. Most likely, if you've driven between Sedona and Cottonwood on 89A, you have seen this gorgeous backdrop here. And I'm here with Mr. Charles Mosley, who is the Director of Wastewater. Thank you so much for meeting with us today.
Thank you.
This is an amazing project you guys have done. I managed to see it from start to finish, but tell me what the objective is here.
Well, the objective of this project was to manage our treated wastewater. We call it effluent.
Sure.
And after it's treated, we have to decide how we're going to manage it,
Right.
which means have it evaporate or something like that, because we can't let any of it go off site.
Right.
And so one of the ways was to create these wetlands. And we were already spray irrigating. You probably saw the real large sprays that goes on.
Right.
But these wetlands are part of a larger program that we have to manage our water a little differently and eliminate a lot of that just spraying.
Sure. And it's pretty super. It covers about 27 acres.
Yes.
I think you have 6 different ponds.
Yes, we have 6 different ponds that the people can visit as part of a park, an official City of Sedona park that we refer to as the Sedona Wetlands Preserve. And on occasion, you can have tours that are conducted and see a couple of other smaller ponds.
Sure, and you can also tour the plant as well.
Yes, you can.
For that, you want to call ahead. If you go to the website, sedonaaz.gov, you'll see on there Sedona Wetlands Preserve. You also see the phone number. You want to call ahead if you want a tour of the wastewater plant. If you're interested in that kind of stuff and how all this effluent is managed, I highly recommend that. That's really neat. But this amazing wildlife habitat is a byproduct of the wastewater system.
Exactly, exactly. The City of Sedona, when we start looking at this, people said, well, you can use it for more than just one thing. And so that's how the Sedona Wetlands Preserve as a public park came about. So not only do we, so to speak, get rid of the water by evaporation and transpiration, this is an area that you can hike in, just go for a walk in. If you like to do photography, there's some absolutely beautiful views. You can, of course, bird watch, which is one of the biggest things that you can do here. But it's a multi-use area.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes a wonderful park. I see lots of people walking. I'm a birder. I'm a bad birder, but I'm still a birder. And I look by, oh, look at the ducks. Yes, to me, they're ducks. I don't know that they're greebies or leatherbacks or whatever they are. But it's absolutely amazing. And you mentioned to me, Charles, that the Audubon Society comes once a year and does a count on what species of birds you have here.
Yes, they do. And they have given us those records, and we have them on our website. There's a list of the of the birds from previous counts, and you can find that on the Parks and Recreation page of the city's website.
Right. That's amazing that you've taken this area that was nothing. I mean, it really was desert. It was rocks. You've got now 6 ponds, something like 12 acres of water, and all the birds come. And of course, we've got coyotes and bobcats and deer and
I hear that there's a mountain lion around.
There's all kinds of cool stuff. And as far as photography goes, if you look on the website sedonaaz.gov, go to Sedona Wetlands Preserve. There's a list of gorgeous photographs that have been taken here, and you can come take your own. Now, the park is open from dawn till dusk, correct?
Yes, it is. Yes.
And there are a few rules.
Right, you'll find them on the website, and there's also a short list of those rules on a board as you enter the park.
Sure.
We have a seating area and a parking area, and it's also ready for if you're biking between here and Cottonwood. There's a place for you to park your bike and just kind of enjoy this area.
Like a rest stop.
Yes.
And you are working on a wonderful project, the viewing deck.
Yes, the viewing deck, the city engineering group has been working getting that together. It's almost done. We're hoping to have it done in a few weeks and be hopefully open to the public.
That's going to be really exciting. It's a raised wooden structure, so it's nice and high, so you can see all 6 of the ponds at once.
Well, actually it allows you to look into a large pond. Not necessarily these 6 ponds, but there's a large pond that we use for holding water. And it holds about 30 million gallons. Wow. But as it drains down, we go through a cycle of letting it fill up and draining it down, because we can't irrigate the whole year.
Sure.
And so we have to have a place to store the water.
Right.
Well, when it goes down to certain levels, certain types of birds come. And they walk around there. They're actually shorebirds.
Sure.
And so the birders asked, hey, why don't we build a deck so that people can enjoy that as well?
Wow.
So the city and the birders work together.
That's wonderful.
To build that deck, and it should be open in a few weeks.
Well, that's wonderful. It really is going to be something special. And this place is incredibly special. You guys have done such a wonderful job.
Thank you.
I mean, you took a nothing and turned it into an amazing wetland area, and it's all connected with our wastewater treatment, which is being done in the most green way possible, which is so awesome. Thank you for what you're doing for this area and the birds and the planet and all that stuff with wastewater. It's just, you have a cool job, I have to say. I think wastewater is cool.
Yeah, it's good. It's fun.
So make sure you go to the website, sedonaaz.gov. check out the Sedona Wetlands Preserve. You got all the information you need, list of the birds that have been seen here, photos that have been taken, any sort of activities, how to have a tour, all the good stuff, the rules and regs. No fishing and no drinking. Very important, don't drink the water. Yes. Charles Mosley, Director of Wastewater, thank you, sir. Really appreciate you meeting with us.
Okay, good.
And we'll be right back with more of the experience, so don't go away.
They said a bottle was just a bottle. That no one would ever notice me. But I knew I could be more. That one day, I would make people smile.
Why is Connor having trouble focusing in school?
Having trouble finding Connor's middle school? Would you like directions?
No, why is Connor having trouble focusing in school?
Finding lowest airfare to Istanbul.
No, I'm tired of fighting with him over homework.
Home walk restaurant. Need a review?
No, I need help. He's very smart, but his mind wanders. He's disorganized.
I think I understand.
Oh, good.
French fries. Finding best potatoes.
No!
Russet. Fingerling. Yukon Gold.
Why don't you understand me?
Sorry, I was trying to show how Connor feels every day. Frustrating, isn't it? Redirecting to understood.org.
For the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues, this is what life can feel like. Explore understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues, designed to help your child thrive in school and in life. Understood.org, because understanding is everything.
Very nice. That was beautiful. You guys sound like you've been singing together for 20 years. That was wonderful. This is, or I should say, these are, excuse me, the Canyon Singers, and this is Sandra Reed, who is the founder and director of the group. Thank you all so much for coming into the studio today. It's such a pleasure to see so many faces. It's so fun. This is the most musicians we've had in the studio at one time. It's a lot of fun.
Good, good.
So tell us, how did the Canyon Singers come about, Sandy?
There were several friends of mine that just enjoyed singing, so we
decided to get together, and we first met at what is now Sedona Community Center, the Adult Community Center of Sedona in West Sedona. And probably 8 or 10 got together and just started singing. And more people came. And so that was about 1990.
Wow.
And our first concert was in 91.
Wow.
So.
How many concerts do you think you do a year?
Probably 2 main concerts. We do a cabaret, not every year, but
nice.
And when we do that, we do sometimes 2 different dates.
Very
and
good.
then we do one in the spring. Sometimes
very
we do a
nice.
Christmas instead of a cabaret.
All right.
So
You
2 or
guys
3.
keep busy.
We do.
That's a lot of rehearsing time.
Yes.
Absolutely. How often do you rehearse?
Monday nights at 6:30 every week, sometimes not during the summer, always, though some of us get together and sing anyway during the summer.
Sure. And where do you meet?
We meet at the parish hall at St. Andrew's Episcopal Church in West Sedona.
Sure.
And we do mostly choral things. Sometimes we pull in some instrumental groups that help us out.
Sure.
Some friends that play along with us.
Do you always play the piano?
No.
No.
We have an accompanist who was tied up today. So.
Oh, well, thank you for stepping in.
Andrew Sweeney is our accompanist right now. And I did play when we started for several years.
Very
And
good.
then as we get into more difficult music, then they need more direction than I can divide.
Sure.
So, yes.
I understand. Yeah. You guys must have quite a large repertoire. I'm looking at your books, and there's a lot of paper in those. Means there's a lot of songs in there. That's amazing.
We do 8 to 10 choral selections during any given concert.
Wow.
And intersperse that with solos and small
wonderful.
groups. So.
Are you full, or are you looking for some new members?
We're always looking for new members, and especially in the male section, as you can probably tell, we don't have as many. But what I have is really quality.
Yeah,
so
that's wonderful.
But we're always open to more, and it's good if you can read music a little bit, because we do some challenging things.
Yeah.
It's not a requirement, but a good idea.
Certainly, certainly. And you can give Sandra a call at the telephone number on the bottom of the screen. And if you have any questions about joining the Canyon Singers, or just want to catch up and see where their next concert is, you have a spring concert coming up in May.
We do. And you did get the memo. The date was changed. So we are doing our concert on Saturday, May 23rd at 3 o'clock. And that will be at St. Andrew's and in the church itself.
Sure. Wonderful place.
And
it's
lots of good parking.
Yeah. Oh, that's always good.
Yes.
And you're going to play another song for us, or excuse me, sing. You're going to play, they're going to sing another song for us, which is wonderful. You're going to love this one. What's this one called?
Sedona Serenade.
Isn't that fabulous?
And Susie Clemens here brought the song to me. She had written the words and basically the tune. She put it on tape for me, and then I arranged it into the choral setting and did the accompaniment.
Wow, multi-talented group.
So sometimes we have violin and guitar and so forth with it, but not today.
Well, that's great.
So.
Well, thank you for writing such a beautiful song, Suzanne. Thank you for orchestrating it, Sandra. And thank you all, each and every one of you, for being here on the show today and taking the time out of your lives. It's wonderful to have you. Everyone, the Canyon Singers, you want to check them out. Make sure if you think you can sing, check them out. You can always use a few more people. And the spring concert coming up in May. Thank you so much for watching the show. Stick around, and then I'll see you next week.
Sandstone cliffs you lie, Sedona, your fiery spires pierce an azure sky. I love to tread the swarthy love story.